EU is the best. Nicola Sturgeon takes aim at Brexit disaster, Green Party stunned. Nicola Sturgeon is today edging one step closer to another bitter independence vote as she announces the plan for her major new coalition deal with the Scottish Greens. The SNP had been locked in negotiations with the Scottish Green Party since the SNP fell short of an overall majority in Holyrood by only one seat in the last election May 6. The deal will secure a pro-Scottish independence majority in Holyrood standing at 72, 7 more than the 65 needed. This new arrangement will provide a majority to vote for a second independence referendum after the country voted against an independent Scotland in 2014. The SNP claim the new term of Parliament is an opportunity to build a fairer, greener and independent Scotland. This landmark deal would also place the Greens in power for the first time in the UK. For the last 5 years the SNP have operated a minority government with support from the Greens to pass the annual budget. Yesterday it was confirmed that Sturgeon will appoint the Green co-leaders Patrick Harvie and Lorna Slater as ministers. Glasgow MSP Harvie becomes Minister for Zero Carbon Buildings, Active Travel and Tenants' Rights, working with the Housing Secretary and Net Zero Secretary. After revealing the details of the deal with the Greens today, Ms Sturgeon is expected to confirm her intention to hold a second independence referendum once the COVID-19 pandemic is over. Alex Cole-Hamilton, the new Liberal Democrat leader said, "Scotland desperately needs new hope, but with the Greens now signed up to support the SNP at every turn, Scotland is now stuck with the status quo. We need to fight the climate emergency with ferocity but without the baggage of nationalism. The planet doesn't have time for the new nationalist coalition to drag us back to the all-consuming divisive constitutional arguments of the past." The Scottish Parliament has agreed the appointment of Scottish Green co-leaders Patrick Harvie and Lorna Slater as government ministers. MSPs voted 69 to 56 in favour of their appointment. Mr Harvie, MSP for the Glasgow region, will become Minister for Zero Carbon Buildings, Active Travel and Tenants' Rights. Ms Slater, a Lothian MSP, will take on the role of Minister for Green Skills, the Circular Economy and Biodiversity. Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar said of the argument, "This coalition agreement, for that is what is just formalising the agreement from the last Parliament where Nicola Sturgeon and the NSP hammer our public services with cuts and the Greens simply nod it through." He added, "This is no new government, this is not a clean start, this is a deal that more about the Constitution, not the climate. It's about greater control for Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP, not cooperation." He argued ministers should instead be focused on tackling issues such as unemployment, child poverty, the drugs deaths crisis and tackling the backlog that has built up within the NHS. The Scottish Greens will no longer be entitled to a weekly leaders' question to the First Minister as the party enters government for the first time. Holyrood's presiding officer Alison Johnston set out changes to the allocation of time at First Minister's questions, following the cooperation agreement with the SNP. In a message to MSPs, Ms Johnston said, "In my view, the nature of the cooperation agreement, which would see the two Greens co-leaders being appointed as junior Scottish ministers, removes their entitlement to a leader's question at FMQs. It is, instead, my intention to allocate the Greens a backbench question in 3 weeks out of 6 and, further, to call them at question 3 in 2 of those 6 weeks. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has asked for civility from other political parties after announcing her intention to pursue a second Scottish independence referendum. She said, "There are issues, including, perhaps especially, the Constitution, on which we disagree profoundly and passionately. That is, I suspect, unlikely to change, though even on these fundamental issues, perhaps we should all make an effort to disagree more civilly."